Hey, Mariners fans, welcome back to another episode of Monday Mojo. Phenomenal week of baseball from our Seattle Mariners. They did some things that we are very, very excited to talk about here today. A little twist for y'all listeners. Max Schwabe said the Sloth, he is out today. He is on a little vacation with some buddies in the southern Louisiana. He's throwing beads around some ladies' necks and doing some things and having some fun, drinking some drinks, all that good stuff. But we have a new co-host on the show. His name is Chris Zweifel, buddy of mine. I met he's from the Tri-Cities. I met him there on the 4th of July of last year, and big Mariners fan. Chris, I'm gonna pass this to you. Let you kind of introduce yourself real quick.
Well, so do you want to go into that, how we met each other?
Yeah, we can go into that. We were, so like I said, 4th of July, and we were at a party. One of my buddies, Jake Seekin, shout out to you, Jakey boy. We were at his house, and we were just there, playing, drinking games and whatnot, and having quite a bit of drinks. 4th of July, ain't no other way to do it than drink a lot. Oh, yeah. And I don't know how it got brought up, but Chris and I started talking, figure out we both had the same name. Found that out pretty quickly, Chris Squared. And we started talking Mariners baseball. And we had, I'm not kidding, like a 3-hour conversation just about, Jerry DiPoto, what he's been doing since he came here in 2015. And pretty much the entirety of that conversation, Chris, I feel like that we were on the exact same page.
I was about to say, we found out we were on the same wavelength pretty quick. And parties going on. Usually on 4th of July, I want to be in the action, But this random dude, Chris Soba, wants to talk baseball with me, and I can't pass that opportunity up because I don't get to talk baseball with a lot of people. So I just want to say I'm really thankful you guys have me on the podcast. Putting a lot of faith. I mean, like I said, Soba and I have only talked that one time, really, and then I did follow you guys' podcast, so I probably got a better feel for him than he does for me just yet. But yeah, a lot of faith for you guys to throw me on the pod. I'm ready to get started, clocking in. Let's go.
I love it. But yeah, to kind of segue from there, touching in on what we had this previous week. First, big old shout out I want to talk about is our guy Yusei Kikuchi. He has now had a streak of 6 games to where he's extended his quality start streak. He has been pitching the best baseball of his career in at least the MLB. And it's obviously for the Seattle Mariners only. But he has been going off. And today, he was looking real good, real sharp. I was gonna go to that game today, but ended up not, and went on my brother's boat and had some fun on this Memorial Day weekend. But I was, you bet your ass, I was following on the Game Time app, and I mean, it was looking like he was maybe gonna do one of them things and throw a no-hitter. Because those have just been so
no-hitter through 5, right?
Yeah, no-hitter through 5, and then honestly, it was looking perfect. And I don't know if y'all were watching, but apparently we had an error.
Yeah, it was JP Crawford. So it was a routine ground ball to shortstop. It should have been easy, but for some reason it sailed over Ty France, and it was a bummer to see that. But yeah,
he gets a pass.
Yeah, but
Kikuchi it was a throwing error.
Yeah, it was a throwing error.
Okay.
But Kikuchi also topped 99 miles per hour on his fastball.
Really?
Yeah. I was watching when I was working out today, I had it on my phone and listening to the broadcast, and Roland Smith pointed that out, that 99, and then he's got that slider too and the changeup. So he's got a lot of the best tools in the pitching staff right now. So good for him.
Dude, hell yeah. And I'm reading here, Jen Mueller tweeted, this was before the game. Oh, no, that's Justin Dunn. My apologies. We'll touch on that a little bit. But no, that's crazy. You say, I mean, he's touched 98, but for him to continue to climb up and get to 99, shit, man, he can get to 100.
I mean, 6 straight quality starts for Kikuchi. And look at it now. We're 1/3 of the way through the season. If you told me at the beginning of the year 500 through 1/3 of the year, no Marco, no Paxton, Kikuchi's doing what he's doing, Dunn's doing what he's doing. I mean, you gotta be happy with it. I mean, look at all the guys that are on the IL for us.
20 guys. Yeah. Jerry DiPoto on the wheelhouse said that. 20.
That's ridiculous. And it's like the bounce back too is something that I wanted to highlight. Is for May 8th, 5 losses in a row, Rangers, and then the Dodgers. And then we come back on the from the 14th to the 16th, take 3 against Cleveland. The last 3 against Cleveland, they got us on the first game of that 4 game. And then we're swept by Detroit.
Who just swept the Yankees, by the way. So Detroit, we gotta give them a little credit here.
The Padres swept us, but they'd won 9 in a row or something like that. They'd won 9 on a home every game in their homestand, something like that. But so we get swept, lose 6 in a row, and then we've come back. Last 7 games, won 6 in the last 7. So the bounce back of this team, the resilience, all our bullpen going down, and then finding guys like Chargot, finding guys like who's the Mets pitcher that just came over?
Seawald.
Yeah.
Yep.
Paul Seawald. And I was looking at his numbers with he's 31, but he's only been a pitcher for 4 years. And the Mets, just like with Flexen, I think they kind of gave up on him a little bit early. I'm not going all in on the Paul Seawald train, but I mean that it looks like he throws a slurve, and I mean it's been a nasty pitch. So I mean, I'm just happy that we've been able to get back to 500 after really going through a tough little span there.
We had a terribly difficult month of May here. Terribly difficult month. And just touching on what you're saying there, Chris, it is just so many injuries. And for us to be at 500 with those injuries, as you were just saying, it's incredible. That is incredible. And with a young team, you're going to have those ups. You're going to have those downs. And let's take that 6-game losing streak that we had with that grain of salt, right? Every team is going to be going through some of those streaks or stretches where stuff's not working, stuff's not clicking. But if they're able to bounce back and forget about it, and not focus on those losses and take it one day at a time, as cliche as that is, taking it one day at a time is just going to end up being able to get your mind right and to bounce back and to do what we just did. I mean, for us to go to Oakland, as I said at the end of the last podcast when we were previewing this week, I didn't know what to expect. I really just didn't. And we kicked some ass. And one thing I want to touch on, Kyle Lewis in the second game, our offense our defense in the outfield, specifically that game, was really, really good. Kyle Lewis, he made a sweet running snag, robbing Ramon Laureano of extra bases and a couple ribbies. And that had to have been a little bit of deja vu for Ramon Laureano, because if y'all remember last year when Kyle Lewis made the signature catch of his young career, bases juiced. It was the first inning against the Oakland Athletics. Bases, like I said, bases juiced, and Ramon Laureano up to bat. He hits a line drive screamer that pretty much I thought was out of the park, no doubt. Kyle Lewis jumps up the fence right above the Jimmy John sign in left center field, and he robs him. And he comes up with that ball, and he comes running back into the infield on his horse, sprinting back in. I got it in his glove. He's pumped, showing that enthusiasm. And when Kyle made that catch in game 2 this last week against the Athletics, you could just see Ramon Laureano. He's like, you gotta be kidding me again. And it's just like, I guess Kyle Lewis has got his counterpart's number when he's hitting to him.
I love how that when he robbed that grand slam, they mirrored it back to Griffey, and you remember Griffey's reaction when he made a pretty similar catch, and it was like the new school. I'm not saying Kyle Lewis is going to be Griffey, but I mean, it just that reminded me of
Griffey-esque,
Mr. Junior.
100%. I was loving it, man. I mean, just the biggest thing is there's the electric enthusiasm that he came up after that catch, and showing the fans that he, 1, had the ball, and 2, was just extremely hyped that he had the ball, and that's what you want to see. That's what you want to see from your center fielder. It's good stuff. But then another guy, Logan Gilbert, first 2 starts, brutal, pretty rough, right? Third start, this most recent one, he looked a lot better, especially with his fastball. Goldie and Blowers on the broadcast were talking about how a lot of his fastballs were sitting middle, and they were just going right down the pipe, and he just wasn't locating it really. But this last outing, you could see him painting the black on the left side of the strike zone, the right side of the strike zone, top and bottom. And it wasn't as often where it was middle. He did still throw a few middle, but you could see that he was getting more comfortable. And then Jerry DePoto was talking about how excited he was to see Logan starting using that changeup. He put in the changeup into play, and I mean, he's getting guys to swing and miss. And
he doesn't use the changeup too often, but he has a good changeup, which is, you'd hear that and be like, well, there's a good changeup. Why doesn't he use it? It's just getting that confidence in the pitch, starting to, it's like you said, locating with the fastball is huge because that opens up the door to everything else. So if he can do that early in the count and not be middle with the fastball, if he can be on the edges, I mean, he's an imposing figure coming down the mound at that height, that length.
He's huge.
Feels like he's right on top of you. He's throwing 90, 95, 96, 97, sometimes touching 97. So, if he can get that pitch in, that changeup like you're talking about, it's just about improvement for him. I don't worry about how he started. It's like Kelnick right now. He went 0 for 14 in the series. Is that a little bit concerning? Yeah, it is. Like, I just feel like both of them, they have, their heart might be going a little bit faster than, what it needs to be. It's slow it down. Let's get into a rhythm. Let's not be swinging at every breaking ball that, is on an 0-2 count. It's like, slow it down a little bit. But yeah, back to your Gilbert point. I think he's looking like he's making progress.
He is 100%. And it's just like the Scott Service, he's talking about like, hey, like we're not expecting him to be dominant right now. We're not at all. Like we're expecting him to, make mistakes. And in September and August, that's when we really want him to have his tools fine-tuned and really sharpened. And so we're just progressing towards that. And as we said on this podcast, of course we want the playoffs this year. We want them every year. We want them every year. It's probably not going to happen this year, but if it does, God damn, that'll be sweet. That'll be sweet. And the right things are going to have to click. We'll see. But just to see the progression that he's had thus far is reassuring, just to say the least. But you all see Tatis against the Astros last night
that was
what they say Sunday. It was so he was 0 for 3. This was the ninth inning. He was 0 for 3. And in the ninth inning, the Astros had 2 outs, nobody on. They gave a walk and then a double. And so there's a guy on second and third. 2 outs, and Tatis hits a pop-up to first base. And the guy completely misread it. And it looked like it was kind of going to be against the netting, but it had so much backspin on it. It continued carrying back towards him, and he dropped it. He missed it, dropped it, and the very next pitch, it was like 96, 97 heater up and in, and Tatis pipped on that ball, hit it to the train tracks in Houston, tied the game up 6-6. They go into extras, and San Diego ends up coming back to win it. And Tatis is just pimping on every single team he plays. But to see it against the Astros, and I was watching that game before the Mariners game was on Saturday night, that was huge because then, we have obviously got that win as well. That same day, the Angels beat Oakland, and so we gained ground on 2 teams, which was great. But just to see that, and I mean, again, as we've touched on before, like it's just fun to see Tatis in general be Tatis. He just does the unbelievable.
Did you put that on the last episode? Have you come out and said how you feel about Tatis and the antics of hitting home runs? And I love it. I think you love it. I didn't know if you put it on the podcast or we just talked about it off the air, but I mean, I love it. Baseball needs a lot more of that, man. Let's go.
It does. And one thing I wanted to bring up last episode, and I realized I didn't, was it's great to see batters do that and celebrate their achievements, such as hitting absolute bombs and piss missiles. But I also want to see more of that from pitchers. When pitchers are doing what they do. And Trevor Bauer, the guy who, as a pitcher, is the most
he's the guy that does that.
Yeah, he's the guy that does that. And he struck out, I don't know who it was, but he had a heater that just had some nasty run on it that went from kind of the middle of the plate to just on the outside of the plate to a left-handed batter. And the guy swung and missed, and it looked like he swung a sword. And not Tatis, Bauer holstered as he's walking off the mound. He holsters the sword and puts it in his belt. It's like, that's what you want to see out of the entire league. Like, if more pitchers are showing that stuff and more hitters are, because hitters are going to continue to flip their bats.
I want to see stuff like that, but that was a little dorky in my opinion.
Yeah, dorky. Call what you want it, but it's the right path that I want to see for these guys expressing themselves, and it's what baseball needs. Kind of to touch on this as well. I was talking to my buddy Jack last night, just about how the MLB is definitely lacking in terms of being able to engage or impress their fans and the average fan in general. And Jack brought up this thought of having the top three. So for us, the top three batters starting every inning. So for us, it would be right now, if we had our starting lineup, Jared, Mitch, and Kyle Lewis, they would be starting every inning so you start every inning with the top of the lineup. And I'm just like, that is not the way to do it. I mean, you're essentially, you're just taking the livelihood, the chance for these guys to earn a livelihood, the 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9 hitters, you're taking away their opportunities. And Jack was like, no, yeah, but you want to see the best hitters all the time. And I'm like, that's not baseball.
Imagine how much Mike Trout would make if that was the case.
Like the Yankees or the Dodgers would be able to get Mike Trout, be able to get Bryce Harper, be able to get, Fernando Tatis. If they just had those three, screw everybody else. You don't need to pay anybody. You just pay those three and you're set because they're hitting every time. It's just, I thought that was just like the stupidest idea. Yeah. What I want to see either the mound get moved back a little bit. That would be my number one thing, or the strike zone to get lowered a little bit. I
would go with the latter there. I think the mound being moved back is a little bit like, changing the rim in basketball, or, lowering the hoop is what I mean. But lowering the strike zone just a little bit, it would take away a little bit of the incentive to throw those high strikes, because if it's no longer at the chest and it's more around, like the bottom of your nipples, or a little bit lower, and then you can lower the strike zone too, have the you can lower the bottom of the strike zone too, have it be, at the shin, so people are throwing down and in more, and it's still a hard pitch to hit, but it's more hittable than these 97, 98 mile an hour two-seam fastballs that are curling into you and, getting up on your hands. That's just, and there's more hit batters this year than there's ever been. So, I mean, I'm not too worried about safety. I kind of like the batters getting hit, but I think that's you
like the batters getting hit? You want to see them get bruised up?
I want more action. So a batter getting hit and then cussing at the pitcher, and then, people are on the top step of each, I'm not the one getting hit. So yeah, I like it.
How about Ohtani and Mark Canha? Y'all see that? Ohtani threw one. Honestly, like, it wasn't that. I didn't think it was that close to Mark Canha. I mean, it was up and in, and definitely outside of the strike zone, and it was like close to his face, but like not like extremely close. Like he didn't have to duck out of the way. Mark Canha was talking some shit back to him. The bench is actually cleared, and Ohtani's just kind of sitting there laughing. He's like, I clearly didn't mean to do this. Like, chill out. And the bench is cleared. And like I said, Ohtani was just laughing at the situation, which
Ohtani doesn't strike me as a guy that's throwing at people's heads.
Dude, Ohtani's killing it though with the bat. You see how many home runs he has?
Ohtani's a savage, dude.
Yeah.
I originally was getting annoyed with like these comparisons to Babe Ruth just because it's like such a different generation. But like after like thinking about it, there's been no other guy that has even come close to doing what Babe Ruth had done in terms of being dominant on the mound and in the box. It's so cool to watch. It's like it's must watch television if you're a sports fan, if you're a baseball fan especially, but if you're a sports fan in general, you want to see that.
And it's even different with Babe Ruth. I mean, he started as a pitcher, but he didn't do both simultaneously. I mean, he was a pitcher the first half of his career, and then he became a slugger and did what he did. Everyone knows what happened after that. But
finger point, baby.
Ohtani's doing it in the same season.
Yeah, dude, it's crazy. He was so with Japan. Do you all know the rules with pitching in Japan? Do they hit, or did he play in Japan?
I know he debuted as an outfielder. I don't know if it's like NL rules where they hit every day, but I don't know. Yeah,
Yeah.
He started as an outfielder, but I think they always knew he could. All I know is his debut was as a left fielder, right fielder.
Yeah, and he's been playing a little bit in right field. When he's pitching, they'll put in a new pitcher, and then they'll put him into the outfield and take one of the outfielders out.
Yeah,
which I think is crazy. I think it's crazy.
If you're just using him as like a pitcher, like they have before, or just as a hitter. I mean, he had Tommy John surgery a couple years ago, so he was just hitting, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So I mean, this is him and his full display of his abilities. It's pretty awesome. I think he's a front runner for the MVP right now.
No, without a doubt. Him, and then Tatis. Yeah, Tatis is just. I love that.
What
guy.
about to bring it back to what we just saw? What about the Adolis Garcia? You know that guy?
Oh yeah, the rookie for the Rangers.
He gives me Randy Arozarena vibes.
He's also like it's fun right now in baseball. It's getting more fun. I mean, you're seeing these younger guys coming up and doing some crazy things. And I mean, although Garcia is on a shitty team, arguably one of the worst teams in the MLB. The Rangers suck this year. They're like atrocious, but he's doing his thing, and that is fun to see that rookie doing what he does.
I mean, we limited Garcia and Kiner Falefa in this series. Besides game 3, I think Garcia went like 3 for 4, but Gallo pimped on us for sure.
Gallo, crazy stat I heard about Gallo. He's got he's like 4th in strikeouts in the league, or he either leads the league in strikeouts and is 4th in the amount of walks taken, or vice versa in terms of leading for walks taken and 4th in the most strikeouts, which is just like crazy to me, because if you're striking out a lot, you're not. Yeah. Normally you're not walking, but in Joey Gallo's case, it's just crazy because he's walking a ton and then striking out a ton, and then if he gets a hit, it's mostly an absolute bomb.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, he what is he batting, like 200, 202, 214?
Not very good.
212.
I know that, but yeah, he's been fun to watch. But I mean, just to really kind of come back to, I guess, full circle here in terms of this full week, going against the A's, getting 2 out of 3 with the chance for a sweep, and then a 4-game sweep against any team ain't easy. And we came up and we did it, boys. We did it, and so we're riding high. We are 5 wins in our last 6 wins in our last 8 games, 7 games. That's goddamn, that's incredible. But the A's in general, for them, with all this talk about them relocating, they're going to Vegas, if they haven't already gone, to check facilities there and whatnot. But also Portland, checking out Portland, which for the Mariners would be huge.
And
in terms of travel.
Have you seen that ballpark? The drops that done of the what the Portland ballpark would look like? Right on the river there, and it's like. So you walk in, the walk-in is a street level, but then the field goes down. And so like you walk in like it's a big courtyard patio, and it's kind of like what Petco has in San Diego. Mm-hmm. Have you guys seen like the ball? Yeah, ball gets hit out to like left center field, and it can just run onto the street because it's like a big. So it looks like that. You got to check it out. The drops look pretty sweet. I don't know how realistic it is. I think Oakland finds a way to keep them there. They don't want to get the Raiders stripped and the A's, but
Oakland's just such a poor city. They don't have money.
So with Oakland, I don't see how realistic this is possible, but they're asking the city to include a $12 billion project, including a stadium on the waterfront in Oakland. So it's a lot of money you're asking for. And what I've been reading on it, because obviously I live in Vegas and we've done a lot of stories on this, and it looks like Vegas is like the front runner. I was hearing on a podcast that the Oakland A's president says that they're not even planning a visit to Portland at the moment right now. They've only been in Vegas. They've been touring a lot of the facilities, and the mayor's on board, and they're all supported. So I think it's either Oakland or Vegas, in my opinion, for what's coming. But I would love to see that rivalry if it was in Portland, because, you see that with the Sounders and the Timbers, obviously, and you get like a freeway series. But I don't know,
Chris,
like, it's crazy.
Carolyn Goodman, she's the current mayor.
The mayor.
Yeah, and So Portland in general, which I didn't know, but they've been advocating for a long time to get an MLB team. They've had rallies and they've just been simply like as a city been advocating for it. Vegas, like not so much in terms of the effort from the public. But Carolyn Goodman, she is the current mayor. Her husband, Oscar Goodman, the former governor of Las Vegas, was absolutely loved by the people in Vegas. Every year when the election came around for him, he had nothing shorter than an 80% majority vote of each election. So they absolutely loved him. The only reason he left is because his 12-year term came up. So his wife naturally takes over, and they have a ton of money. Vegas in general, as we all know, and Carol Goodman has a reputation. The Goodmans in general have a reputation for getting what they want because of the money that they have. And so that's going to be a hurdle for Portland to have to try and come close to matching and to try and come close to jumping. In my opinion, Vegas has a much higher chance of getting a team. The MLB, they don't give a shit if a city is advocating for a team. If there's another city that has a better opportunity to get them more money, it's a business. I understand it. It is what it is, but kind of just something cool. As I was reading on, I thought, I didn't know. I know nothing about politics, and this is definitely not a political podcast. I absolutely hate politics. For all your listeners, if you want to talk politics with me, don't. But yeah.
It's all going to come down to money, and so
yeah.
who puts up more money? Probably Vegas. So Vegas probably gets them.
Yeah.
I think Oakland has a little bit of an advantage over Portland in keeping them, just because they're already there and they can work something out with. I think the MLB would rather keep a team in place if the city can put up enough money. But we know Oakland has been running their teams out, the Raiders and the Athletics, onto that. What is it called? O.co? What's the Coliseum there?
I just know it as a Coliseum.
Yeah, I saw it as a Coliseum too.
Yeah, I mean they've been running that back. It's like, guys, it's time. It's 2021, so let's.
Dude, didn't they have tiles like falling?
Yeah, I mean there's
I'm sure
there's like sewage problems. The everything. So I mean they got to figure that out, or they're going to lose their team.
Yeah. I don't think there's a chance they stay in Oakland.
You don't?
No, I think there's no chance.
So I might put Las Vegas as the front runner, but I think Portland's not happening for sure.
No, I think so Oakland's their Oakland City Council on July 20th is going to vote on the $12 billion project if they want to fund a new stadium. So if it does not pass, then it's for sure probably going to be Las Vegas.
Yeah. But to kind of go from there, next thing I kind of wanted to touch on, Eric Campbell. Anybody have any clue who that guy was before we saw him playing for the Mariners?
No, if you do, you're lying.
Yeah. If you do, you're lying. I saw a really funny as I was scrolling through Twitter. People were like, "Who the hell is this guy?" And somebody commented, "Oh, he's lucky fan from section 118, row 12, seat 6." I just thought that was so funny. But Eric Campbell, in April of this year, he actually took a head coaching job of a summer league college wood bat team named the Norwich Sea Unicorns. A few weeks later, Jerry Dipoto picked up the phone and called him. He's a 34-year-old who spent most of his career with the Mets organization, and his last at bat, his last hit in the MLB was in 2016 with the Mets. It's been 5 years since this guy has played Major League Baseball. Kind of wondering, what the hell, Jerry? Like, why is this guy coming on the team? Why did you call him? But that's who Eric Campbell is. He played third base in game 2 versus Oakland while Seager DH'd. But he hasn't done too much. He's kind of just a pawn in the chess pieces that we have that's not going to be with us long term.
I mean, I'm a huge Jerry fan, but
yeah,
this story would be a lot cooler if he was producing. I mean, he's really done nothing, and I don't have, I don't know everyone that was DFA'd. I don't know all the free agents out there. Todd Frazier was out there, right, for a little bit. He was. I mean, come on, this is the best that we could do.
I was a little confused on that as well, and like same thing here. I'm going to preach about Jerry Dipoto till the day I die. I absolutely love what he's been doing. And everybody who listens to this clearly knows that.
We all do.
Yeah. And I don't know who the Eric Campbell, good for you personally, for you as an individual, to now be on a major league roster after thinking you were going to coach a college summer league wood bat team. Whatever. Welcome to the Mariners, buddy. Please do better. Viva Ta France, my guy. He got hit in the forearm by Carrot Top from the Dodgers, Mr. Dustin May. And he didn't go. He missed the next game. But after that, we didn't put him on the IL. And we saw his numbers dip drastically. Fast forward a little bit, we put him on the 10-day IL. This guy's coming back with a vengeance, and he's looking like the Ty France that started off the season. And God damn, I am loving every second of it because he's producing. He had the first 3 ribbies of today. Viva Ta France. I love it. It's like Bon Voyage from The Incredibles. You guys remember that guy? Bon Voyage.
No, but I definitely love calling him Viva la France.
Viva la France. But yeah, then another star from the week, Justin Dunn. Also doing his thing, and he's allowed 3 or fewer runs in 15 straight games, and that's the 4th longest such streak in Mariners history, behind Felix and our guy Ronas Elias. They had 18 games, and then Eric Bedard, he had a 20-game stretch there.
I saw that. I couldn't believe Elias was on that list.
I couldn't either. It sucked because Elias is technically a Mariner right now, but he went down in spring training with Tommy John surgery or something like that, which was just shitty to see because that guy, we as Mariners fans, we all know Ronas Elias.
I loved him, man.
Loved that guy, man. He's great.
That 12-6 curveball he threw, and just he had a little bit of swagger on the mound. I loved it.
Oh yeah. Which is just great to see, but was great to see. But it is great to see Justin doing his thing, and in that stretch. Opponents are batting 168 against him, and that's the second best in the AL this season, second to Carlos Rodon of Chicago. Then another thing I actually saw, kind of a sad thing here. Lou Piniella got diagnosed with cancer, and so he's going through a battle right now. That came out a day ago on Saturday, yesterday. One of his close friends told the media, I guess, I don't know who it was, but he said that Lou Piniella is battling cancer right now, and so I did just want to bring that up. Prayers up to that guy.
Absolutely, that's bad news. I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's sad stuff. But if we know Lou Piniella, he'll kick some ass and throw some bases and make sure that cancer doesn't fuck with him. Hopefully.
Let's go, Lou.
Let's go, Lou. And then also, I thought this was hilarious. Mookie Betts, he got scratched from the lineup tonight for the Dodgers due to allergies. I mean,
that can't be right. Come on now.
Somebody with the blue check mark, Fabian Ardea. He tweeted out. He's got that blue check mark. I mean, if you got a blue check mark, I'm going to trust what you tweet.
He's credible.
Trust what you tweet. He's credible. Dave Roberts, he tweeted it saying Dave Roberts said that. So Dave Roberts, that's what he told the media.
Hearing it straight from the manager's mouth is usually pretty credible.
Yeah. So I thought that was hilarious.
What do you think about running through this series win though? This complete series win though. Yeah, that's great baseball. What we did to the Rangers. I mean, game 1, Flexen goes out and flexes on him. 7 innings, 0 runs. 1 walk, 6 Ks. Love that, especially when you have a depleted bullpen. If your starter can get you to the beginning of the 8th inning, go 7 complete. Game 2, Sheffield does his thing. He was just pretty much pitching to contact, but then we kind of gave it over to the bullpen. This is the most impressive game for the bullpen for me. Miz, Chargot, Middleton, Swanson goes 1.1, so he gets the last out of the 8th and then gets the full save in the 9th. Then Dunn, like you were talking about, 8 Ks, 5.2 innings.
2 walks.
2 walks.
That's the best thing. Right there is the 2 walks.
And then Kikuchi did his thing today. Not perfect, but no-hitter through 5. Or was he perfect?
He wasn't perfect. It was that error that Crawford had, but he had the no-hitter, though, for 5.
But we'll just say, 1 earned run by the bullpen as well. So the starters are doing the thing. 1 earned run by the bullpen. And then another interesting thing that I wrote down, I got on my notes here, is the 12th straight loss for the Rangers at T-Mobile Park.
And I think that's also their 12th straight road loss. So they're just sucking on the road right now. They can't do a damn thing. Like I said, they suck. They suck this year. I don't really think they had any expectations to be good.
One last thing. When is Graveman coming back?
Hopefully soon. Will Vest came back. Did he pitch tonight? I wasn't able to watch.
No.
Okay, so he didn't pitch yet, but he did come back. And then again, the injury bug as we bring Vest back. Eric Swanson goes on the IL.
Yeah.
So, and Eric Swanson, he's been sneakily kicking ass this year. If you haven't been paying close attention, he has a .69 ERA. Noise this year. And he goes on the IL, man. It's just like we bring Will Vest back, and when somebody takes his place on the IL, it's just like, come on.
I hear what you're saying, but we're getting these guys back. We're getting Graveman back. We're getting Steckenrider back. Vest is coming back. We kind of found a guy in Seawald. Who knows what he'll be going forward. I like Chargot. I want Middleton to close too. I'm not as out on Montero as a lot of people are. I think the 5 blown saves are disgusting, but maybe just move him out of the that closer role because his whip isn't horrible, his ERA isn't horrible. It's just I think he has a little bit of bad luck. But man, when he came in 3-1, I was like, okay, Montero, this is your chance to prove me right. He did give up a run, and he makes me nervous as hell. I like Middleton closing.
It's like the Fernando Rodney experience.
It's very similar. Exactly. Yes.
It's a hell of an emotional roller coaster seeing that guy on the mound.
I like his stuff, but I don't think he can close games. I mean, Middleton came up with the Angels. The first year he came up in 2017, he was a closer. And there is a little bit of a difference between it just a regular relief pitcher and a closer. I mean, everything's on the line. Those last 3 outs seem a lot harder. You need a guy who's done it. And I know Montero did it last year for the Rangers and had a good year.
8 for 8.
Yeah, he was good. But I mean, 5 blown saves this early on. It's time to probably move him into a just middle relief role. Which is what
they were doing before we had Graveman and the COVID outbreak amongst the bullpen. They were putting him in that six inning spot, but we've had no option other than to hop on the roller coaster and ride that experience these last couple series. And he's done what we've needed him to do. We've got the wins, and so kudos to him. And yeah, no, like you said, I mean, he did give up that 1 run, but Scott after the game was talking about, he's like, I know that Montero's numbers aren't looking good, but the hits for the most part that he's giving up are weak contact finding holes.
Right. And I do think he's been a little bit unlucky.
Yeah, a little bit unlucky. And it's early in the season still. And as I said on the last show, let's get all this unluckiness out of the way early. Let's get these injuries out of the way early. Injury bug is going to hit every single team. It's a fact. It's inevitable. Everybody's going to get injured at some point. Better early than late.
So to change pace here a little bit, I know you're a big Kelnick guy. I'm bullish on him as well, but 0 for 14 this series and before the series coming into it, it was already trending that way. So I was looking forward to this series. Hey, Kelnick, can you get back on, or not back on track, but can you get on track? And 0 for 14, that is a little bit alarming.
Yeah, it's not good.
I like
it's not good at all. Obviously, shitty numbers, but get him out of the number 1 spot. Why the hell is he batting leadoff?
Just to get him at bats, but I agree with you.
I get it. Like, yeah, you want to get him at bats, but you got to look like, hey, like this guy is a rookie and he's played like a handful of games this season in the MLB, and he's since the day he's gotten brought up, and every time he's been in the lineup, he's been batting leadoff. I get it. Yeah, sure. Let's get him as many at bats to get him as much experience as quick as possible. But there's got to be a point to where are you hurting his at bats because you're batting him leadoff, and you take a little bit of pressure off the guy. Obviously, he holds himself to the highest of high standards. He is thinking that he wants to be in the Hall of Fame. He wants to, as he said, quote for quote, I want to cover my hand in rings. That's what he said. I love hearing that. He's got the attitude. He's got the confidence, but let him ease into it. on this new level. It's a completely different playing field from coming to AAA to the majors. It's completely different. So let this guy, put him in the 4 spot, 5 spot, 6 spot, something like that. Let him get in the groove. And as
I think 5 is the spot I want to see him in, and I want to see JP take his place at number 1. Mm-hmm. I like JP's at bats. He has a good on base percentage, so he can take those walks, and he's the average kind of fools you a little bit. I think he's batting like 242, 248, something like that. But he's honestly had really good at bats lately. Like you said, you're talking about Ty France. I think one of those days, both of them in their first 3 at bats were like 3 for 3. It might have been a different day, staggered days, but I like what he's doing, and he's batted number 1 for us last year. I think you throw Kelnick down to 5 or even 6. Maybe you can move up someone to 5. Maybe Seager goes to 5 because he had a bad series.
He's like a 215 average now. He's climbing down quickly.
He really could not hit a curveball to save his life.
They were all coming in down low and into his ankles pretty much. He's swinging at all of them, just missing it over the top.
But we know he goes through these just crazy every year, like slumps. And then he'll just have a month where he bats 357 with like a 600 slugging percentage and fixes all those numbers. But I agree with you. To take it back to Kelnick, take him out of the number 1 spot. It's just a little too much pressure. It's not going to kill his confidence. It's going to take pressure off of him and let him blossom a little bit.
And that's all we want to see. Take the pressure off. That's all we need, a little bit, and he'll figure it out. Mariners Facebook is saying send him down, but Mariners Facebook is idiotic, and they jump on the ship and jump off the ship faster than the snap of a finger. It's ridiculous, man. That shit grinds my goddamn gears. That's something we already touched on last episode, so I won't dive too much.
I'm gonna go no comment on that because
it's just stupid, man. It's all these old hags that are, like I said, somebody's doing real good, and then, oh yeah, I love this guy. He starts doing bad, send him down on the AAA. Oh, why did we bring him up so early? It's like, man, everybody was hyping to bring him up sooner. It's like, shut the hell up.
I will say though, before we move on, I was on the send Evan White down train.
I'm on that train still.
Yeah, I mean, I think they kind of made up an injury for him, or at least when
what's going on with him right now? What's the story?
I actually don't know. The injury, I think it's a hamstring or it's a pulled groin, something like that. We can figure that out. But I mean, I think it could be a little bit of a made-up injury. So when he comes back, he can start at AAA instead of sending him down healthy to AAA, where there's all those conversations of ruining a guy's confidence and because we're paying him. We paid him a big contract, but I feel like there's a parallel here between White and Zunino. I mean, Zunino's a great catcher, defensive catcher. We brought him too early and kind of ruined him. Mm-hmm. And I mean, White is, in my opinion, the best defensive first baseman in the league. But I mean,
I think hands down the best defensive first baseman in the league.
You can't have his bat in the lineup. That's why I like Ty France over there right now. I mean, we're giving up a lot defensively, obviously, because you go from the best to whatever Ty France is. But Evan White, you don't want to ruin him. Get him. I don't care what you're paying him. The contract is irrelevant to me. Let's get him down there and get him 60 games. Maybe that's too many, but get him a lot, 200.
Get him games there. Just get him some games in AAA. You never played in AAA. You never played.
Yeah, exactly.
Get him some at-bats in AAA.
Get him some ABs and don't ruin this guy.
And if it is, I doubt it is too late, but let's hypothetically say if it is too late for him to get fixed, I'm so okay with trading him. And then we keep with like our 4-man rotation in the outfield, Mitch Haniger, Julio Rodriguez, Jared Kelenic, and Kyle Lewis. Once those guys are all doing their thing in the league, having them and then one of those guys, be the DH, and they rotate right through there. And Ty France
that makes sense to me. I don't know if I'm there yet. I want to see him go down and see what he can do, because he hits the ball hard when he hits it, but he very, very rarely hits it. So
yeah, it's so many swings and misses. But so kind of with the update, he's got a hip flexor strain, and so since the 14th of May, he has been on the IL. He's got no timetable for returning. Looked like on Thursday this last week, he was able to participate in some cage work. But yeah, like I said, the timetable for his return to game action has yet to be established. So encouraging seeing him do some resuming activities. But we'll see what happens with that. But another note in terms of injuries and more on the bright side of things, seems like for the foreseeable future, we have pitched our last relief pitching start. We've had the last time where our relief pitchers start the game. Marco Gonzalez will be back for his next start in the rotation. So that'll be this upcoming week, and we shouldn't be seeing the bullpen have to put in so much work as we've asked them to do in the last month. He's been out since the end of April, so this entire month we've been in that sixth time having the bullpen pitch. And like we said, I think there was only one win that we had with those guys, and that was against Shane Bieber and the Indians, which that was actually a really good game. There may have been one other win we got in there that I could be missing, but for the most part, not good to see that. It's tough to watch because we're just wasting the arms of the bullpen, which we do have the best bullpen in the league, arguably, when we're using it correctly.
Right. Yeah, I don't want to see any more bullpen starts. The Cleveland game was fine and it worked out well. And how do you win against Shane Bieber? That's a great win. But I'm very much looking forward to Marco coming back. He started, a little bit rough. Not used to seeing Marco kind of scuffle like that. But I think he's still a number 2 pitcher in the league. Maybe for a championship team, number 3 or 4, but he's going to be a welcome sign for us coming back.
Oh, 100%, man. I love Marco Gonzalez just because the energy that he brings. As I've said multiple times, the dude's a dog and a savage.
He's literally a dog.
Yeah,
he's a bulldog.
He's a bulldog. But yeah, he just brings a type of electricity into the dugout when he's doing his thing. But yeah, he started off rough in the season, but then it was really good to see what he was doing after those first few starts. And he was looking back as Marco Gonzalez, the one that we all know and love, then the injury hits. So very excited to see him coming back, which I guess is a pretty good segue here. Upcoming week, we are, as I'm pulling up the schedule here, we got Oakland again. They're coming to our home. They're coming to T-Mobile. So that'll be fun to be able to take it back to them. Take it back with them here. And then we got the Angels coming up. So we've gone through a long stretch here, 2-week stretch. We're in the middle of it of division baseball. And we get to be going.
Just skip past the Athletics, which the players shouldn't do, but we can do. Against the Angels, no Trout. Pretty big. Otani, hopefully, and Rendon don't just continue to rake. I don't know what Rendon's been doing this year, but Otani's been awesome. But no Trout is a very, very welcome sign. I love that. Don't love that he was hurt, but do like the fact that he's not going to be hitting third against us.
Dude, he kicks our ass every single
does he
time.
Even hit third? Does he hit third anymore? I think they're batting him 2 for a while.
I'm not sure.
Yeah, but he's not in there, so who cares?
Yeah, no, that's gonna be great, and not having to see him again. Have we seen him yet this year?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah, but yeah, no, I think this could be more place to make up ground. I mean, continue if we can just get two out of 3 against Oakland, and then another 4-game series after that against the Angels. I mean, we take that 3-1, shit, man.
So is that are they both 3-game series?
3-game Oakland, 4-game Angels.
Okay. Would you take? Well, yeah, you'd take 4 and 3 for sure. I was going to ask if it was both a 3-game series. Would you take 3 and 3?
If 2 of those 3 wins were against Oakland.
Okay, I like that. I like that answer.
Yeah, as long as we can just take the series from Oakland, that's going to be the biggest thing. I don't think the Angels are going to be a threat this year.
Man,
their pitching sucks. It's just so bad.
Every year they have this. They have these giants in the middle of their lineup, like Rendon, Trout, now Otani. I mean, most people would be able to do a lot with that, but just no pitching. And then you throw Otani into the starting pitching staff, so it's like you're paying one player to do 2 positions. You should find a way to push lineup besides Dylan Bundy and I don't even know who else they have.
I could
kind of makes my point.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's got to be. I'd be pissed off, man, as Mike Trout or as Shohei Ohtani. They're wasting him. They are wasting him. If I'm Mike Trout, didn't they sign him to like a lifelong contract?
Like what, 10 to 13 years or something?
Something crazy like that. Sucks for Mike Trout.
I mean, it's still LA. You know, he has a good life.
He's got a good life, but you know, you can have $1 million. Don't mean you're rich. If I'm a baseball player, I want my hand covered in rings.
Yeah, well, I mean, as far as the legacy argument goes, I think in like basketball and lesser extent in football, but definitely lesser extent in baseball, you can still go down as the best player of all time, and you don't really need those rings. It's like
Ken Griffey Jr.
Everyone knows that one player in baseball can't do everything. And I mean, you look at his MVP finishes. It's like 3 MVPs and then like 2 second place appearances, and then I think everything else has been like top 5 or 6. So he's the best player in baseball of all time, in my opinion.
Yeah, of all time, really, already.
No, I'm very bullish on Mike Trout. He's pretty
over the kid.
Definitely over King Griffey. King Griffey doesn't make my top 5, to tell you the truth.
Really? Okay.
For me, it's Barry Bonds and Mike Trout 1, 2. And Mike Trout is number 1, and then I'd go Barry Bonds 2. And we can get in my list if you want to.
I do. I'm very curious about this list. Who's 3, 4, 5?
I know I put A-Rod like 5. I gotta think it's 3 and 4.
Willie Bloomquist? I'm just teasing.
No, Willie Mays, I think is 3 for me, and then Hank Aaron 4. And then I go Alex Rodriguez 5. King Griffey just gets missed out of that top 5.
What is he, 6 then?
He's right there. Yeah.
Okay.
I think A-Rod had a little bit better career. Griffey would have been in my top 5, but the injuries kind of hurt him a little bit.
Yeah. Oh, injuries killed him. Of course. I mean, he could be the home run leader if he didn't get injured so much. But I can appreciate that list. I'm going to disagree heavily with not having Griffey in that top 2.
Top 2.
Oh yeah.
Where's Barry Bonds?
Behind Griffey.
No.
For sure. I don't want this to be mistaken. I am all for Barry Bonds getting in the Hall of Fame. He is. I don't give a shit how much steroids he used. The game in general, there's always going to be something going on to where somebody's being able to better themselves, whether it be having pine tar or something sticky on the baseball, or whether it be corking your bat, or whether it just be putting shit into your own blood, into your own bloodstream. Something is going on to where somebody's getting an advantage. They just happen to really take on the steroid effect with Barry Bonds. And I don't think it's really fair to him. You still got to connect the ball. You still got to hit the ball. He's undoubtedly one of the best baseball players of all time. I am not disagreeing with that, but I am disagreeing with him being ahead of Griffey.
Who would have thought we would have broke down our top 5 baseball players?
Yeah.
That was out of nowhere.
That was out of nowhere. You brought it up. But I like that you brought up Alex Rodriguez. There's something that I want to start doing on this show. And that is what I want to call, this day in history. For us, it's going to be this week, since we know Monday Mojo, recorded on Sunday, dropped on a Monday. But we are going to go over, this day in history for the upcoming week. And coming up here on June 2nd, I'll get to the A-Rod point in a little bit here. But on June 2nd, there's kind of crazy to see here. In 1987, June 2nd, Seattle Mariners drafted Ken Griffey Jr. And then fast forward 3 decades almost, in 2010, Ken Griffey Jr. retired on June 2nd. So the day that we drafted him was the day that he also retired just many years later, both with the Mariners, which I thought was pretty cool. But on June 3rd, 1993, Mariners Day in history, we drafted Alex Rodriguez. And I'm not sure if y'all knew this, and I didn't know this, but doing my reading, I found out A-Rod actually called the Mariners organization and asked them not to draft him. You guys know that?
Did that just come out? Because I literally can't pull that where I heard that from, but I just heard that in the last 2 months. And you said that the other day, and I was trying to think where we heard this, but we probably watched the same thing. It might have been an Instagram video or something.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, he called the Mariners, and his agent who was his agent? Rosen?
No clue.
Was it the big guy Rosenhaus or whatever? Anyways, don't worry about it. Yeah, heard that. That is crazy though. On the drafted Griffey on June 2nd, retired June 2nd. Is the draft on June 2nd this year? June 3rd? Do we know that? We're gonna draft the next Griffey.
It's coming up. I know that. Kyle Lewis was drafted number 1. Ken Griffey Jr. Fun fact is the only MLB baseball player ever in the history to be drafted number 1 and to make the Hall of Fame. There's been no other number 1 overall draft pick to make the Hall of Fame.
Chris, I want to ask more about did you read more why A-Rod didn't want to play for the Mariners?
No, I did not see what was into that. I was doing my light reading, we'll call it that, in terms of diving real heavy into it. For you fans, I actually, you listeners, we'll call you fans as well. Why not? I missed a decent amount of baseball this week as I was in the middle of the boonies in the Wenatchee National Forest camping. Had no cell service, so I did miss a good chunk of few games. But the day before I left,
speculate he didn't want to be a Mariner because they have no history of doing anything, and they're a small market. Yeah, they were. He was a pretty high profile prospect. He probably wanted to play in Miami or something coming up. Not that they had done anything yet, but
not yet. Well, they were Florida back then, Florida Marlins.
Yeah, Dontrell Willis, Miguel Cabrera,
Joel Pinheiro,
Juan Pierre too.
Juan Pierre. Gotta love that.
That was a hell of a team. I love Dontrell Willis. And Evan, I think you told me this actually.
Beckett
Middleton
was their best pitcher. Yeah.
Oh, Josh Beckett too. God damn, they were stacked.
Yeah.
But was it Keenan Middleton was his favorite pitcher? Dontrell Willis, right?
Yeah. Yeah. That was on according to his Instagram page.
Yeah, and Keenan Middleton actually, if y'all don't know this, he born and raised in Portland, so he's been a Mariners fan his whole career. And Chris, as you were touching on, drafted in 2017, right?
He came up in 17. I don't know.
Came up in 17, but Dipoto drafted him.
Right.
Yeah. So that was in 2014, I think, is when he got drafted. Maybe 2015 before Dipoto left the Angels. But where were we? I'm sidetracked.
I'm talking Dontrell Willis, baby.
Dontrell Willis. Oh yeah. And I just thought that was kind of cool to see that's who Keenan Middleton's favorite player growing up was. Dontrell Willis. Tried to kind of be like him, even though Dontrell was a southpaw and Keenan's a righty. But
Chris, do you want to talk to Grouch?
I do. So for you listeners, I know all of you are pretty damn well aware of the costume I wore when the Astros came to T-Mobile Park for the first time this year, dressed up as Oscar the Grouch, obviously to troll them for the trash cans. And that was a hit, an absolute hit. Talked to Danny O'Neill about it, yada, yada, yada. In July, end of July, let me get the exact dates here for y'all. July 26th, 27th, and 28th, Houston comes back to T-Mobile Park. And I'm going to be putting out a GoFundMe for Oscar's Army. The goal here is to raise $9,000. And each Oscar the Grouch costume on Amazon ends up being just under $100. And so we want to get $9,000. That'll get us 100 Oscar the Grouches. And if we can get this GoFundMe, I am going to buy all of these with the GoFundMe, not me personally. I do not have that kind of cheddar. But if we can get the support of our listeners, the support of baseball fans, Mariner fans in general, sports fans in general, who are all still pissed off at the Astros and whoever, we want to troll them. And I want to get as many of these bright green Oscar the Grouch costumes into T-Mobile Park as possible. So you guys contribute to this GoFundMe. I'm going to put out a link this week. I'll work on it tonight and have it ready tomorrow. But we're going to put this out. And if y'all can just donate what you can, that would be so fucking awesome. We would be so appreciative.
Can we paint a picture here?
Oh yeah.
Can you imagine 100 Oscar the Grouches, hopefully in one section, but if not, the camera will pick them up all across the ballpark. I mean, it's a bright green costume. You can't miss it. If there's one all over the ballpark, or if there's 100 in one section, get them all in the beer garden.
Get them all in the beer garden. That's what I'm saying. Get them all in the beer garden. If we were all dressed up as Oscar the Grouch in the beer garden, just yelling like crazy when Jose Altuve, because Jose Altuve
and Alex Correa and Bregman, they were not there for the first time that they came to Seattle. They missed out on our chance to troll them. And I was sitting 16 rows behind home plate, and I was yelling like crazy. They for sure heard me, but the guys, those main three who are the main contributors on the team right now that are still with them, they were the main contributors to that cheating scandal. And so
the only one you could have been yelling at was Yuli Gurriel.
Yeah.
He was the only guy that would have taken that, a little bit personally. But those are the guys that we want. We want Bregman, we want Altuve, and we want Correa. For me, I have always liked Altuve, but I mean, after this, it's.
I loved him. I loved him before this. Like I respected the hell out of him being the small guy and having the power that he had. But then, all that went out the.
You know what's funny is they're all batting over 300.
They're
so it's showing that probably didn't matter as much as we thought. But.
Well, but with I forget, it was like 57 breaking balls that Clayton Kershaw threw, and they swung at none of them. None of them. That's just dumb.
Yeah, I mean, and you look at what they did at Yankee Stadium in that playoff series. They just put up no runs, but at home, just Altuve just goes gonzo on a Chapman high and up and in fastball after he'd thrown 2 breaking balls. It's like, dude, no one does that.
No, that's your damn near impossible.
Or that's at your neck.
It's crazy. But yeah, so what we're gonna do here, ladies and gentlemen, we can get this $9,000, and if it's even more, hell yeah, that's even better, baby. But I'm gonna buy them all on Amazon, and I'll get a truck, a U-Haul if needed. And I'm gonna go down to T-Mobile Park myself, and I am gonna hand these things out to fans, and we're gonna hand them out like candy. It'll be for free for the fans that pick them up. But if you donate and if you go to the game, put in the comment section in the GoFundMe that I'm gonna be going to the game. It's gonna be. I got to figure out. I'm going to talk with Danny O'Neill from 710 ESPN. He said that he wants to jump on this with us, and he's going to help us promote it. He's going to put it on his radio show, Danny and Gallant 710 ESPN, from 7 to 10 a.m. in the morning. Weekdays, he's gonna help us advertise this and help us get this out to the public. Public service announcement, I guess you could say. But we're gonna pick a game. It's tough with this one being a weekday series, but we're gonna make it work. Hopefully we can do, maybe a Monday night. We'll do Monday night. That's what we'll aim for here, and kick the week off strong at the end of July there. But I'm going to get down there early, and I'm going to hand them out. I'll be dressed up in my Oscar the Grouch costume. You better believe that. And we're going to be taking it to these cheating guys. And we're going to give them what they deserve, because the Dodgers did a phenomenal job in Houston. The Dodgers traveled well to Houston, and they had trash cans. They had a whole section. Talking shit to the Astros and yelling, and they were chanting. The Yankees have been doing a phenomenal job with it too. 2 franchises you would expect to be doing that with the credibility that they have, especially with what they went through facing the cheating team. But we want to give it to them too. They're in our division. They're our rivals. They're making themselves the rivals of the damn league. And we got to do our job as fans to make sure that they hear it loud and clear. We ain't going to let them forget. Hell no. And so that's the GoFundMe. Oscar's Army, ladies and gentlemen. We are going to be bringing it to T-Mobile Park with a vengeance. And we're going to have bright green Oscar the Grouches throughout the stadium, yelling, trash talking, doing what we do, and making sure that we get heard. And I'm very excited for it.
Yeah, follow the page on Monday Mojo on Instagram. You can see that Grouch costume that you're wearing in that. I mean, if we can get that going, man, can you imagine how many 100? Can we get more? Can we get 150, 200? I mean, that's a lot of money. That's a lot of dough. But we can get them all in the beer garden. That's going to be just epic, man. The Grouch, the Oscar's Army. Let's go, baby.
I'm hyped just picturing it. Just as a listener right now, close your eyes. Close your eyes and listen to me. Imagine being at T-Mobile Park and you're looking in the beer garden and you're seeing nothing but bright green Oscar the Grouches yelling, talking shit. Oh my God. You're telling me that doesn't get on ESPN? You're telling me that we don't get famous as a sports, as a city? I mean, golly. Another thing that we're going to be doing here each week, ladies and gentlemen, is a little game amongst the Monday Mojo crew. We are going to pick one player to represent us for the week. So essentially, this is going to be compared to a fantasy type deal. But we pick one player, and we are going to get points from how well or points taken from how bad that they do. A hit, a single will be 1 point, a double, 2 points, three for a triple, and 4 for a dinger. A ribby, however many they get per game, that'll be a point. So 1 ribby, 1 point, 4 ribbies, 4 points. You get that. Strikeouts are going to be minus a point. Errors are going to be minus a point. And each week, we're going to pick one player. Like I said, we're going to stick with them for that week. And then the next week, whoever got the most points gets first pick at another player. Can't be the same player back to back, but they're going to pick another player for that week to represent their team. And at the end of the season, whoever has the most points amongst the Monday Mojo crew is going to be crowned the fantasy champion. We'll call it that. And so that's what we're going to be doing here week by week. And to kick it off, since I'm talking already, and I guess since I created this idea, I'm gonna just steal the number 1 draft pick here. And I'm gonna start off with Kalu. I'm gonna start off with Kalu. Oh, I'm sorry, Evan. You were gonna try and pick him, but
I was gonna take him.
What I do, I'm doing what I do, and I'm picking Kalu. So that's my number. That's my draft pick. I'll have you two pick a number between 1 and 10 here. You know what, Chris, you're new. I'm gonna let Evan go second.
What? I'm new. I thought you were gonna give it to me.
Yeah, you're getting hazed a little bit as much as we can here. Evan, Evan,
I got my pick too. I got my pick.
Better hope Evan doesn't pick it.
I am going to go with JP Crawford for me. I think that he's swinging a hot bat. You saw that home run that he hit the other night against Texas. Saw some pop there. I think he's hitting like 250 right now. And so he's getting more consistent with the ball. And so, JP is my boy for this week.
An interesting fun fact about JP, only 2 dingers this year, both dingers against Texas, both dingers against that pitcher. I can't say his last name, but it's very similar to Mistezowicz. A little bit longer, but it ends the same with Witch on there. Maybe they're the same nationality. I don't know.
Fultonevich.
There it is. Yes. And he threw JP his first homer that JP had that liner to right field, change up, middle in. Second time around, this most recent one, same guy. Change up, middle in, dinger. So
I saw
JP,
that.
Yep, and that was crushed. JP didn't got power, but that was crushed. And so he obviously knew how to attack that guy, and he knew what he was looking for. And so Evan, I like that pick.
I'm gonna kick us off here, or not kick us off, but I'm gonna end it here with Mitch Haniger. How can I not? How can I leave him on the board?
I was surprised Evan didn't pick him, to be honest.
He's right there for me. I thought I was gonna get him number 2. I thought you might take him number 1, but he's here at 3. I got Haniger scratched in, and then that'll kick me off to next week because I'm gonna win this week, and I'm probably gonna take Seager next week. So
expecting to bounce back then from Seager pretty quickly, huh?
He's like cryptocurrency, man. He's going down, and I'm gonna buy the dip.
Well, it's a good timing to bring that up because it's kind of ironic actually with the way Seager's been playing so far this year. May is typically his go-off month, and April is his slow month. April, he went off. May, he's been slow. He's been slower than he can run.
He'll be good in June.
He could potentially be. I'm hoping he's good in June. No doubt about it. I'm curious who Max is going to pick because we'll text Max. We're not going to let him not be, although he's not here today. He's enjoying his time in Louisiana, doing his thing, as we said.
I feel like to keep that New Orleans theme, he's going to go Viva la France.
That's what I was thinking with the guys we've already picked. I mean, how could you not? I mean, who else are you going to try and pick? I mean,
you try to take Seager on the dip.
You could, but that's a lot of risk for. You could have some reward, but. Yeah, if they were playing Texas again, I think Seager would be a lock, especially if we're going to Texas because Seager just absolutely dominates. Yeah. Rakes Texas. Actually, fun fact about Seager, speaking on that. Before the series started against the Rangers, Kyle Seager has pretty much played just over, this was before the series, so keep that in mind, this most recent series. He had played 164 games against the Rangers, 2 games over a full season, batting a .297 batting average, 32 bombs, and 110 RBIs. That's a full season against the Rangers.
Full season, baby.
And that's really good numbers, ladies and gentlemen. .297 batting average, 32 dingers, and 110 ribbies over 164 games versus the Rangers. I mean, that's just numbers don't lie that he dominates the Rangers. So when we play the Rangers again in that week, keep an eye out for Seager. All right, keep your eye out. Who's ever getting that number 1 pick? Keep that in mind. But yeah, ladies and gentlemen, I guess that's kind of everything I had to cover here today. It was a great week, great bounce back week for our boys. Being the young team that we are, streaks are going to happen. Losing streaks and winning streaks. Let's hope that this winning streak stays alive. Huge series against Oakland coming up starting tomorrow, Memorial Day. Get outside, drink some liquid that has alcohol in it. Enjoy the day off from work, ladies and gentlemen. Have some fun. Spend it with your friends. Spend it with your family. Another episode of Monday Mojo recorded on a Sunday, dropped on a Monday. Appreciate y'all. Go Mariners.
I used to sit with my dad in the garage. The sawdust, that pine sol in the moss. Around every spring, when the winter thaw, we'd huddle around the radio, twist the broken knob. 7:10 a.m., no KJR. Dave Niehouse's voice would echo throughout the yard. Couldn't have been older than 10, but to me and my friends, the voice on the other end might as well have been God's. 1995, the division series. Eggers at to bat, bottom of the 11th inning. Got the whole town listening. Swung on and belted, the words distorted. Joy Core rounds third. Here comes Griffey, the throw to the place, not in time. My oh my, the Mariners win it. Yes, fireworks, they lit up that ceiling in the Kingdom. We had just made history.
One on the line, down the left field line for a base hit. Here comes Joy. Here is Junior to third base. They're going to wave him in. The throw to the plate will be late. The Mariners are going to play for the American League Championship. I don't believe it. It just continues. My, oh my.
Lace and woven, barely holding that stitch. Creases of time amongst the grime and the grit. Weathered leather, used to pound his fist. To some it's just a myth, but see that glow is him. Yeah, tell me stories on the field with that sun-stained rim. Blood under my chin, he taught me how to spit. Sunflower seeds back with me and my crew. Sunburnt arms, big league chew. Yeah, we were like the Sandlot after dinner. After practice we listened to the M's in the kitchen. And if mine wasn't